Well, the time is just gone 8:46 a.m. and the schooling system up and running, and many of our learners, in fact, I would say most of our learners are back up and running at the various schools, but also at the same time looking at the online schooling system. And this morning we are talking with Kurtuba Online Academy. We're speaking with the principal of the Kurtuba Online Academy, Maulana Wasim Lahe. Maulana, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jummah Mubarak to you and welcome.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Inayat. Jazakallah for having me on your show.
I mean, Jazakallah. Maulana, I just returned from Cape Town, and one of the things I did in Cape Town is I've got a daughter, and I helped her enroll her two sons, my two grandsons, Alhamdulillah, at schooling, and we enrolled with Kurtuba Online Academy. So, Alhamdulillah, they up and running this week. So, mashallah, it's all systems go.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, quite busy. And at the start of the year, and in fact, I also recently just joined the academy, having had my educational history in senior management in on-site and brick and mortar schools. But Kurtuba Online Academy is something different, something new, and something that I'm thoroughly enjoying so far. And the growth is phenomenal. I mean, the registrations are skyrocketing. I'm hearing from you that your grandchildren registered. So, Alhamdulillah, it's quite a busy period, and all hands on deck, all shoulders are on the wheel, and we're really pushing ahead. So, inshallah, let's hope that this year will be a very fruitful and beneficial year.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. And I suppose, it's taken a lot of planning, Molana, as well, in terms of getting prepared. It's always a new school year. It's always challenging, but making sure that, everything is in place, from a systems point of view, but also at the same time looking at the academy itself, the management of the academy, the educators, the teachers, and to make sure that everything runs smoothly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the complexity of the organization, the pacing, the structure is very different from your normal on-site school. And as I mentioned, it's quite exciting. And for example, we offer from grade double R all the way to grade 12 and the CAPS curriculum, the Cambridge curriculum. We offer madrasa as well. And there's different offerings. So you have a normal live timetable, like a timetable in the school. You start at 8 o'clock and finish at a specified time. Then there's the flipped learning approach where kids come on and they have access to all of the content. There's videos and notes, and they just have a support session. So the flexibility, the versatility, I mean, it's amazing. And I think with the advances in technology, it's so pleasing to note, and it's delightful to know that there are facilities for Muslim children with a Muslim ethos. And in fact, technology is going so fast. I hope that inshallah we can keep on track with the advancements of AI and the metaverse, etc., and that we can offer quality education solutions to our communities, inshallah.
Yes. Now, Malala, one of the biggest challenges that the country is facing at this point in time is the whole question surrounding load shedding. And I'm sure at this point in time, it would affect online schooling, online education. And I'm sure even, Kurtuba Online has taken into account that, load shedding is going to be a challenge for many of the learners that have enrolled. What are some of your thoughts, or what has the online academy, done about this challenge that has arisen?
Yeah, so I think load shedding is a national nightmare. And I think all of us, when the lights go off, it's such a detriment to us. And we have the lights come back and the microwave beeps. It's such a positive thing. And obviously, in the online sector, that's a huge challenge for us. It's akin to a petrol shortage where people won't be able to go to school or job because it's an essential commodity that you need to access your day-to-day facilities. So, being in an online institute, one of the basic components that you need is a device that's powered by electricity, and you need connectivity via the internet, which also runs on electricity. However, the benefit with the online schooling is that all of the lessons are recorded, and the content and the teaching is also recorded. And there's notes as well. So there's various forms that are accessible whenever the lights do come back. So even if you miss a whole day's classes or whole week's classes, in fact, we have learners who often will say, hey, you know what, I'm actually going for Umrah, or I'm traveling, I'm in Dubai, or I'm somewhere else in the world, and they can access the classes at any point in time. So even if they miss it, they can still catch up at any point in time. They can develop their own timetable, and it's working very well for a large number of learners, alhamdulillah.
Well, Alhamdulillah, Maulana. And also, I think, there's been so much opportunity as far as online schooling is concerned, and also looking at it from an Islamic perspective as well, where we've seen a huge success. We've seen great results coming through. And this, at the end of the day, with the right approach, with the right mindset, with the right strategies, and the dedication, this has gone a long way. Just taking a look back in terms of how the Kurtuba Online Academy has progressed and the successes and what has been achieved to date.
So this on its own is actually phenomenal and remarkable. The institute started just shortly before COVID hit in 2020, and at that point in time, the institute only had about 80 learners. They catered only for grade 7, 8, and 9, and just the Cambridge curriculum. Today, as I mentioned, there's so many different offerings. It's a full schooling experience with different types of methodology and pacing, whatever the parent and the learner feel comfortable with. And on top of that, we had our first matrics at Load last year. And Alhamdulillah, our institute was one of the top performing institutes. In fact, it was ranked as the best institute under the Sakai banner. One of our learners also, Asma Parak, mashallah, performed phenomenally well, exceptional, Alhamdulillah. She had 7 distinctions, Alhamdulillah, and she was ranked as one of the best learners amongst 5,000 candidates. And I think that was quite a good achievement for us in the sense that there are over 60, almost 90 Sakai institutes, and Kurtuba ranked at the top. So that's something that we are very delighted to hear, and we thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for it, firstly, and the dedication and diligence from the engine room here at the office to the teachers who are teaching, and our learners ultimately who put in the effort to ensure they get the results.
Yes, and also Molana, I think one of the biggest concerns is looking at what is actually playing around us, and there are so many fitnas, there's so much actually taking place physically in a number of schools. Looking at the issue that arose last year with regard to unisex toilets as well, and learners generally are exposed to a lot in a number of schools, and parents are concerned. They're concerned about the safety, they're concerned about the security of the children, and also in terms of the Islamic ethos and what they are actually exposed to. And for me, there is a lot of value, I would say, where parents can feel totally comfortable that their children are learning in a safe, in a secure environment, but more importantly, in terms of content as well, that they are exposed to.
Yes, no, of course, and especially if there's any elderly people listening, I'm sure you will identify when we say that our forefathers, I mean, if I recall my father who would talk about his forefathers and say how difficult it was for them when they had to go to school, there were no schools that were in the area, they had to travel by train. And Alhamdulillah, as time went on, and during the apartheid, all the communities got together and were segregated. So they had educational facilities within their different demographics. But still, too, with the expansion and I mean the growth in population, and Alhamdulillah, Deen is spreading so fast and so far and so wide. The need for quality education, we just couldn't keep up, and there weren't enough schools and facilities. So while on-site schooling, definitely, I mean, that's an excellent thing from an Islamic point of view. The heart-to-heart is definitely there. But I think having access via a digital and an open distance e-learning platform that allows people to access quality education from wherever they are, I think that's serving the needs of many communities that are often overlooked. And also many groups of people who experience a lot of bullying in their institutes, people who have social challenges or psychological challenges, people who just want to, for example, do HIVs, they want a bit more flexibility in their daily lives, etc. So it services the needs of so many parts of the community and so many different groups and demographics. And Alhamdulillah, I think that's why the institute is growing. We currently have over 1,500 learners, and we're receiving a steady rate of approximately 20 applications a day. So the growth is absolutely mind-boggling, mind-bending, rocketing. So Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that, and we make dua that Allah capacitates us to service all of our subscribers and learners, inshallah.
Yes, and just one more thing, Molana. Just looking at your staff and the educators, and I'm sure it requires a specialist training to teach in an online environment, and especially when it comes to the younger ones, to keep them interested, to keep them motivated, and because they are not physically seeing the teacher, and all of that. And I suppose it does require that special training to care on the part of the educators to make sure that the learners are kept interested, motivated all the time, and at the same time making sure that they need to do what they have to do to impart that knowledge.
Yes, of course. And I think online education, in fact, I'm busy doing my master's. And one of the things I talk about is the development of education in the history of mankind and the space that we are at now. And each part of history and education had a different way of teaching children, and children had a different way of learning from teachers. And with the advent of online education, which is, to be honest, just a decade old, compared to your normal classroom, which is approximately 300 to 400 years old. So it's a very different space, and we're still learning. There's no professional studies about what's the best approach to use. And I think institutes like ours are actually at the forefront, pioneering ways to find out what's the best method to teach and what's the best method for learners to learn. And we tend to find, through trial and error and iterative process to see, okay, this is what works, okay, this doesn't work. And as we're finding our feet, alhamdulillah, there's a lot of progress that's been made. And I think overall, the level of satisfaction amongst our parents and our learners is very high, alhamdulillah. So I think that's an indication that what methodologies we are implementing, what experiments we are trying in terms of methodology, it does seem to be working. And alhamdulillah, again, we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He guides us to the way that is best for our teachers and learners, inshallah.
Yes, and Maulana, just finally, yeah, there is still opportunity for people wanting to enroll their children at the online academy.
Yes, no, of course, given the flexibility that the institute has, anyone can register at any point in time. They may get information from our website, www.kurtubaonline.co.za. If you can't remember it, just go on to Google and put on Kurtuba Online Academy, Qurtuba, Kurtuba Online Academy. It will bring you to our website. It will give you all the information you require, and you can apply at any point in time.
Well, Maulana, Jazakallah khairan for that and for your time with us this morning. Alhamdulillah, it's been an absolute pleasure engaging with you, talking about Kurtuba Online Academy and looking at the 2023 school year in particular as well. And as you mentioned, Islamiyat being offered as well.
Jazakallah khairan, brother Inayat. It was a pleasure being in your company at Salam Media. I hope you have a wonderful day, and to our listeners as well. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Maulana Wasim Lahe with us this morning, the principal of the Kurtuba Online Academy. You can Google them, you can go onto the website, and you will get a wealth of information on the website. The time is just gone 8:58. We're going to go for a break, and we have got Jumaat Nasiha coming up.